So in this video, we're talking about foot flare. Do you need it? How much you need? And what effect does it have on your turn in the backswing and the downswing? So you'll generally read or see some amount of foot flare, so feet turned out this way, is going to be good for helping you rotate. If you did the opposite and turned your toes in and tried to rotate either way, even for a very small chip, not really going to go anywhere. So some amount of rotation with the foot, turn them out this way, right and left foot, definitely going to help how you rotate in the swing. And this video is following on from a Instagram clip that I did with a previous player who over-rotated a lot with his hips on the backswing. So he would generally start feet, 30 degrees out, might be about typical for most players. But that allowed him to rotate the hip a huge amount on the backswing. So in that particular example, we're using the foot flare to reduce the hip turn. So with his right foot, it will go fairly square, left foot turned out. So if I go extreme and point it towards the target, like that's as far as I can go unless I dislocate my knee. So rotating here, not an option with this hip. That foot flared out, really stopping me. This right foot as well, helping reduce how much I can turn that way. I just did the right foot again, turning it in, reduces your turn. So if you're over-rotating, which is also a problem, as well as not rotating or not turning well, you can go right foot or trail foot square, lead foot, front foot or left foot here, slightly open. That will reduce how much I can turn this hip on the backswing, if that's something that's needed. Again, generally for most people, some amount of flare with both feet is going to help how you rotate. So if you're struggling for rotation on the backswing, flare this out. Struggling on the way through, flare this out. Because having this foot open on the way through, as well as reducing what happens on the backswing, will help you rotate this way. You see players that start a bit too square will struggle with rotation going back and then struggle going through, or this foot has to jump up and move a fair bit, which you don't mind, but if you're struggling or it's not comfortable, left foot, front foot turned out is really going to help how you rotate through the ball. So it depends what you're working on. Generally, some amount of flare with the feet is a good thing for rotation. If you're over-rotating, there's ways you can change that. So toe pointing parallel, front foot turned out reduces this. All depends on what you're working on. So for myself in particular, I can rotate this way a fair bit. So my right foot's fairly square, left foot's a bit more open. If you need more flare to help you rotate with that right foot, it's certainly something you can do. So it depends what you're working on, but certainly something you can play about with. Where do your feet need to be to help you rotate or to reduce the rotation that you have?